If you have ever felt fake, fragmented, or like you're playing a character no matter where you go, it might not be a personality flaw. It could be a very predictable outcome of modern day life. Back in the 50s, there was a sociologist called Irving Goffman, and he's been saying this for decades. He had one question: how do people present themselves in everyday life? His idea was life wasn't about being yourself. Life is a theater and we're all actors. Social settings are stages, and behavior changes depending on who's watching and listening. For example, at work we act differently, with friends we loosen up, and on dates we emphasize different traits that we have. According to Goffman, most of what we call personality is just role-appropriate behavior. This doesn't mean that we're fake. It just means that we're really good at adapting to our environments. Now, Goffman argued three main ideas. Number one is impression management. This basically means that we are constantly adjusting how we speak, dress, and perform depending on how people perceive us. Number two is roles. We aren't one self, but a collection of different roles that switch depending on the context. And number three is the front and backstage. The front stage is where we perform. The backstage is a safe place that we get to drop the act. But what happens when the front stage never turns off? Now, this shows up everywhere that we go. This could look like typing the right thing in group chats, curating Instagram stories, and tailoring opinions depending on who's listening to us. You're not confused about who you are because you lack identity. You're confused because every environment requires you to be a different version of yourself. When every version gets rewarded, punished, or judged differently, the self starts to fracture. Now, back in the 50s, Goffman obviously assumed that we would go home at the end of the day and have a safe place to turn off. But the modern digital world kind of fucked us. Now our audience is everywhere. Our phones never turn off, performance is always rewarded, and silence feels like disappearance. The internet didn't create fake people, it made performance permanent. When performance becomes continuous, the backstage just collapses. Carl Rogers was another psychologist who was really well known, and he believed that psychological health comes from something he called congruence. This is when who you are, what you value, and how you behave all line up. But Goffman basically came in and showed us that the modern life requires incongruence and constant friction. And in this contradiction, this is where distress is born. So imagine you're a streamer or a content creator. Every day you have tens of thousands of people watching you. They all have different moral expectations. There's no safe disagreement, no private spaces. And at some point, a performer is going to forget who he is performing for.
If you say the R word, if you say the R word, you are the biggest loser on the planet.
Listen to me. If you're too retarded to understand what my fucking point is, that's not my fault.
This person begins consistently arguing with fragments of their own audience, whether that's left, right.
Hassan gets mad at a Vietnamese refugee and yells at her to go back to where she came from. Okay, let's hear it.
As Vietnamese refugee, we have endured suffering under the communist regime, and we believe that...
Okay, fuck you, dude. I mean, seriously, fuck you, old lady. Shut the fuck up. Yo, fuck this refugee, okay? Why don't you go back and live in South Vietnam in the same conditions? A government that does not entertain the humanity of all people, even those who are waiting in line to become legal asylum seekers, so they are technically legally on U.S. soil awaiting their court date. A government that does that will come for you as well and will say the exact same things about you as well, and me, all of us.
Fans or haters.
Hey, you need to stop drinking Coke Zero on stream. It's boycott.
Wait, is it?
You're preaching pro-Palestine and you're drinking all this boycott stuff. Please, Hassan, at least pretend. Do it off stream. Please.
Okay, I'll put it in a glass.
And they're all demanding different masks. And if you ask someone like Hassan who the real version of him is, I doubt he would even have an answer for you.
Fucking God, I hate the left. I hate liberalism. I hate my life. I hate streaming. I hate socialism. I hate every single person who thinks that the peak of activism is just being the most annoying holier than thou. I want to I want to just shut it off, dude. I want to shut everything off. I just want to go away. If I wasn't so goddamn stubborn, I would have a long time ago. Oh my Lord. I 100% think you should someday go on sub-only mode. What do you mean? The most annoying people.
The most annoying people are your own subs. Yes, you've cultivated these people.
People are literally like the 40-month subscribers.
Yes.
The person.
He saw the clip.
This is where the tricky part is. People hear this and they think that the problem is that we wear masks. But the real problem is that we never integrate the roles that we play into one coherent self. So instead of one person with different expressions, we become fragments. So because I don't want to be a lecturer who just teaches theories, I actually want to be a psychologist one day who solves problems. How do we turn something like this into something that we can use right now, today? Well, there's 3 steps that I came up with. Step 1 is to identify the roles. Write down 5 roles that you play most often, whether that's worker, student, son, friend, online version of yourself, guy that goes to the gym, anything like that. Step 2 is we find the value thread. Ask yourself one question. What value shows up in all of these roles that actually means something to me? This could look like honesty, competence, loyalty, curiosity, or strength. Identifying these values is how we integrate the roles. Step 3 is rebuilding that backstage. The backstage is not for scrolling, it's not for substances or ironic detachment. The backstage is the place you do not perform, with no audience and no recording and no optimization. This could look like handwritten journaling, or gym sessions with no music and no cameras, or writing notes that you know you will never post. It has to be a place with no judgment and no need to perform. If you don't consciously build a backstage, the world will decide who you are for you. You don't need to destroy the masks. That's not the problem. You just need to acknowledge when you're wearing them and have a safe place that you can take them off. This is the difference between being a role that the world assigned for you or being a person who gets to decide who they become. It's all about regaining your agency. That's what's important.